They're like, of course you're freeing the bump. You freed the nipple, not freed the nipple, but like you freed the nipple with the breastfeeding cover. Now you're freeing the bump.
Hey friends, welcome to Keep It Simple Sexy. I'm Christine Bullock, founder of KO Body Care, certified fitness trainer and mom of 2 little girls who's just trying to juggle it all and feel as good as possible. I'm so grateful that you're here. Now let's get started, sexy. Hi everyone. If you're ready to strut your stuff like a professional model, shine like the queen's best diamonds, and rock a baby bump with the utmost confidence, then you better stay tuned for today's guest. Welcome back to Keep It Simple Sexy. I'm your host, Christine Bullock. And today we have top model Nicole Trunfio. She told me to pronounce it that way, but it was better the way she said it, to help us or to provide us with her best beauty and wellness tips, along with guidance in how to balance business or businesses in her case and motherhood. Nicole was born and raised in Australia, began her professional career as a model, working internationally with top brands and couture houses, an experience that allowed for her to develop an interest in both the creative and business sides of fashion. Always honoring her creative spirit, Nicole studied jewelry making and went on to spend time working with various jewelers in New York City. In 2016, ERTH Jewelry was born, fine jewelry that is expertly designed and crafted for everyday wear. The customer is of utmost importance, and ERTH allows for one to develop personalization and curation of their own distinct style and look. In addition, sustainability is the key tenet of the brand. All of the gold used is recycled, and the stones are ethically sourced and repurposed, and packaging is optional. Very cool. In addition, Nicole has built Bumpsuit, a chic alternative to maternity wear, which she launched just after the birth of her 3rd child. Starting as a base layer providing comfort and function, the brand has grown to include shapewear for maternity and postpartum support, as well as dresses and separates. Nicole is passionate about helping women feel their best at every stage in life. And I'm currently wearing her jewelry and her bumpsuit, and I feel awesome. Welcome to the show, Nicole.
Thank you. And you look so wonderful wearing it.
Thank you.
Wow, that was so expertly delivered. I was very engaged.
Yes. I love a good intro. I mean, all of our guests are so amazing, and I'm so excited to have you here. You're such a beautiful soul, inside and outside, of course.
Oh, thank you.
And
It's such an honor to be with you today.
It's amazing everything that you've done. And I mean, we met, I think we were both, I don't know if you were still pregnant, but right when or I guess you had just had your 3rd baby when you launched Bumpsuit, but I might have been your first customer. I was still pregnant towards the end of my pregnancy. And I was like, I need this outfit. This is so chic, but so comfortable. And I'm wearing them, I wear them through pregnancy, and I still love to wear them. So they're great for everybody. And you've blown up. They've blown up. Every celebrity, model, singer, whatever is wearing them. And the company is truly, as a business stance, like grown up so quickly, which we'll get to how you accomplish that and how you working on that. But that's amazing. And you're still juggling it with motherhood. You're a mommy of 3.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride, like, I think it's about, really being passionate about what you believe in. And I think putting products on the market that you need and empowering women is just the foundation of everything that I do. So it's just a necessity,
It is. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a good business model to have, empowering women. We all love it. And we're going to support you and empower you as well.
Thank you.
And perhaps it's something that you learned through your journey.
Absolutely.
I read a little bit about your start into modeling, and I think every woman loves a good model story. So can you share with us?
Mine was probably it was one of the wildest stories. And I'll kind of try and shorten it. It was quite eventful though, so it's hard to shorten. But I come from the bush in Australia, conservative Italian family. My dad wouldn't let me listen to like Alanis Morissette or watch, any TV.
Me too. Amy Grant was my first and only CD.
It was, we had one movie in our house. It's a mad, 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 mad world where they Have you seen that movie? Where
No.
the train gets the big, it's so funny. It's hilarious. Great characters in that movie. But so when I was little, I was really skinny and really awkward and really nerdy at school, and I just didn't really fit in at all. And I just thought that was how my life was going to be, and everyone was like, you should put her in modeling. And I was like, oh no, if the girls are this bitchy normally, there's no way I'm going to survive in like the modeling industry. So I was like, absolutely not. And I come from a poor family, and I was very smart. So I was like, what's the highest paying job? Lawyer, that's what I'm going to do. I love debating. Family law, yes, that's what I'm going to do because I'm a family girl. And then I guess life had a different path for me, and I got scouted and got kind of like scouted, hunted, coached. Like I never wanted to do it. So I was kind of in a weird way forced, manipulated into the industry. But once I got into it, I was like, oh my gosh, every other girl was like a skinny, awkward, nerdy girl. Well, a lot of them. And I was like, oh, this is kind of where I belong. And I really felt like I found home in terms of like the personalities of the girls. They were so sweet and smart and endearing, and ended up winning a competition in Australia, which led to the Ford Supermodel of the World, which I came runners up in, which led to a contract in New York. And I was 16. And so, months earlier, my mum had signed something. And so they're like, if you don't move to New York, we're going to sue you, kind of thing. And I was like, I didn't think I was going to win at all. So I had to move to New York when I was 16, which
goodness.
It was devastating to me because I come from the bush. I didn't even know who Nicole Kidman was at this point in my life in Australia. And I was kind of just like thrown to the wolves in a way. And
no, truly. I mean, when you grow up in a bubble, I understand that too, because I really did too. I mean, suburbs of Pittsburgh, it's like, it's not the bush maybe, but like when you live in a bubble, it doesn't matter. Everything,
Yeah.
to
and
New York and the modeling industry.
It really wasn't by choice too. I felt really abandoned by everyone because I was like, how can you not let me listen to Alanis Morissette, but let me move to New York by myself with like $3,000 in my bank account? It was really crazy for me. But, my dad said something to me, which I guess what's really interesting to me at this point in my life is like how we can raise the next generation of humans being mothers. And I'm taking all of the things that I learned from my family, which were really powerful for me, and then like leaving the things that didn't work. And so one thing that my dad said to me, I was like, how are you letting me go to New York? And he's like, because you have a good head on your shoulders and I trust you. And that was the highest form of positive affirmation because I lived up to his belief in me. Instead of saying to me like, be careful of this and be careful of that. And these people are going to do this. These people are going to do that, which we watched on the news. There was all these conspiracies at the time about the elite scandal and, all that stuff that happened. And 9/11 had just happened, and I was like, how are you letting me go? And he's like, because I trust you. You have a good head on your shoulders. And he would never let me ride horses, but he would always let me ride dirt bikes. And I was like, how can you not let me ride a dirt bike? He's like, because a horse has a mind of its own. I trust you on a dirt bike. And so he really instilled in me this sense of like, I'm in control of myself, which I think is really important as a parent to remember with your children, like positive affirmation, because I did live up to that. I never did anything I could have. Everyone around me did. And I saw everyone making bad choices. But I was like, if I'm going to be in this industry and away from my family, I'm not the most beautiful girl. There's girls more beautiful than me, but I'm going to be the hardest working, the most professional, and I'm going to make good choices. And I think that's why I had such a successful career. I went to Milan and, Tom Ford cast me in the Gucci show. And that was when he was doing Gucci, and his position was so powerful. If he cast a girl in his show, it was usually only one new girl per season. He had his army of women, and then one new girl got casted every season, and she became the girl of the season. and he casted me in the show, and it changed my whole life. Like my whole
Oh my goodness, goosebumps.
It was so wild. I went to the casting. I was wearing like a vintage nightie, like a slip vintage black with like stripper boots or something. I was staying in this.
Please tell me you kept this outfit.
I still have it.
Good.
I pinned up the sides. I had no money. I was staying in this really horrible hotel in Milan called the Hollywood Hotel, but it was not the Hollywood. It didn't even have a phone in the room.
It sounds like a horror film.
It was bad. And I was staying with a girl I'd never met before. She couldn't speak English. We had 2 single beds. We didn't even have a phone in the room to call out of. It was the lowest of the low because they didn't know which model was going to make it and which one was. So they can't invest into you at that point. Mm-hmm. And so I remember in order to see my outfit, I had to stand on top of the toilet seat and like look in the mirror to see my outfit. And I went to Tom Ford, and it was, you know, getting to go behind the scenes of these fashion houses and meet these people is amazing, first of all, but it's also an education which you just can't buy, you know. Mm-hmm. Seeing how like the back end of these high-end like luxury fashion houses works is just an experience that's just so valuable. I went in
it's
there.
Like the Wizard of Oz, I'm sure. You know,
I was shy. I was,
you know,
like,
what's
shaking.
behind the scene. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's amazing. Like, it's, wow. And so anyway, that night I had a dream that my boyfriend sent me red roses, and that happened. And I was like, I'm psychic. And I also had a dream that Tom Ford casted me in Gucci, and I was driving around with a driver. Every girl has a driver. And I got a phone call. I feel like crying talking about this. I got
been a while,
call, right? And they were like, you got the Gucci show. And all of a sudden, I didn't have to go to any more castings. I was cast in Chanel, Valentino, Cavalli, Missoni, Fendi, Dolce Gabbana, like all of the shows, because when he made a decision at that point, everyone followed. So they like kicked out one of the girls from their lineup, and they just added me. They'd never met me, but Tom Ford cast me. So it was like, you get put into all the shows.
Can you imagine? I can imagine you just getting call after call after call. Like,
no,
you got this,
I didn't
you got
even
this.
need it. It was just like, okay, your whole life is changing overnight. You know what happened? My driver was like, okay, we're going home now. And he dropped me off at the hotel, and it wasn't the same hotel. It was like the Palace in Milan. It was
stop.
I was like, oh, so this is how shit is meant to be. Like,
we were talking about Julia Roberts before we got on our podcast and Erin Brockovich, but this was the other movie for the Julia Roberts.
It was a total movie. And then Karl Lagerfeld, like meeting him. Yeah. He was the second person that really took me under his wing. And wow, my life was a dream. It was a complete dream. And all of a sudden I was making millions and millions of dollars overnight. It was like,
were you still 16 at this point? 17, yeah. You just turned 17. That's crazy.
I asked them if they would let me go to Sydney just to learn how to be a model for 6 months, and they allowed that. And then I moved to New York, and my first photo shoot was like for American Harper's Bazaar. I was Elizabeth Taylor, and it was shot in the Hamptons, and with Patrick Dempsey.
My jaw just dropped.
And we had security guards, and I was wearing diamonds, like massive.
Oh my goodness! See,
yeah,
I mean, but look,
the Chanel show, like meeting, you know, all of the Oprah. Like I was on Oprah walking for Valentino. Like it was crazy. Oh and my first campaign was the Dolce & Gabbana campaign.
Oh, I can see you in that, man. They're perfect, gorgeous.
I bleached my hair blonde and had blonde eyebrows, but it was a trip.
I think I have that magazine. I remember, because I remember you being a model. So growing up, like I have this really good talent where I can see a new model in a magazine and be like top model, right? So I remember the campaign where they switched your hair, because I just remember you. I didn't even put that 2 and 2 together. I have a very good face, face recognition. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I have some of my old magazines, actually.
So wild.
I think I remember that. We're going to find that. We're going to
My
put that up
hair's
here on our
never been
video.
the same since then, by the way. I'm still
Okay.
trying to grow it back.
We are going to get into the model beauty wellness tips in a second, but that's one
Yeah.
of them. Don't bleach your hair. I did that
Yeah.
too. The Keep It Simple Sexy podcast is brought to you by KO Body Care. Uh-oh, guys, I'm going to fill you in on something. My pants are fitting a little tight today. Have you guys ever felt the same, a little bloated, ate something that didn't mix well with your tummy? Well, I'm going to let you in on my personal hack. KO Body Care's clean plant-based supplement, Bloat Be Gone, and it will be gone. As the founder and CEO of KO, we spent so long getting these formulas perfect, and this one really works instantly. Our customers are just as obsessed with it as I am. What I love about this one is that it soothes bloating and digestive discomfort fast while healing over time. So I always slip this one in my purse when I'm going out to dinner, and that way I can throw it in some water, drink it, and feel great. Try it out for yourself and see the bloat and discomfort start to disappear, leaving you feeling your best. Head to kobodycare.com and use our code KISS20 for 20% off your first purchase.
Hi, my name is Maria Good, and I'm the Global Product Educator for Passiflora. As we know, collagen production slows around age 30, leading to thinning of the skin and skin laxity. When we make more collagen, our skin appears firmer, tighter, lifted, and more robust. Tripolar Stop X Rose is an age-defying tool that uses radio frequency to gently stimulate the production of new collagen and elastin. Dramatic, long-lasting results will come after 3 months of consistent use, but you'll see a difference after the very first treatment. StopX is effective because of the technology. It's made by a company called Polygen, a division of Luminous, which is a global leader in the manufacture of clinical-grade devices. So if you're interested in a tool that's safe, effective, and gives great results at home, this should be your first stop.
You're kind of touching upon some of your life lessons. And
Yeah.
one is absolutely the positive affirmations that you can put into your children, and just the belief, instead of being like the negative Nancy part of it, like, don't do this. It's like, I believe you will do this.
Yeah.
You also mentioned, I mean, I think it's like, you almost cried there just because it's like, it's full circle. It is really amazing hearing you talk about the fashion and even the jewelry that you wore and all of those experiences, and how you went from one side of the business to growing and creating another one in, less than a decade, really, of being in there.
Yeah.
But what else? I mean, are there any other like really strong life lessons that you took with you, other than hard work, all that kind of stuff? But
There's just so many. Like, I think that life is a constant evolution and there's so much to learn. Something that I'm really like grasping right now in my life, which has been really incredibly freeing, is that, we have zero control over anything, really. And it's so freeing because it just makes you enjoy the moments and appreciate the moments and have so much fun with everything that you're doing, and just be the best version of yourself that you can be. Because like, it's, yeah, we have control in a way, but we also have none. Like, and I really am finding such joy in just like surrendering to the fact that we have no control.
it's funny. I feel the same way, going through a pregnancy where it took me 8 years to get pregnant. And then it was like a whoopsie. And then I got to stay pregnant and didn't have a miscarriage. And then COVID hits. And, you're like, your husband's not allowed to be in the delivery room, and you can't move into your new house. He was finally allowed to. But we were also at that point surrounded by tanks because the world was going through other things at that point. And there was all this stuff going on even on the day of delivery. So it was like, it was so crazy. And yet I found the most peace I've ever found, because I just became totally okay with living in the moment and being like, everything's going to be okay. And I feel like you, where I'm like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. We can put our best foot forward and we can learn from the world around us about what does.
Yeah, we all make mistakes, like so, especially as parents. So, like learning how to be a parent, there is no rule book for that. That is a hard one, really, really hard. But yeah, it's just a constant evolution. I love what you're doing because I think just women sharing their experiences and the things that we go through is the most important thing in order for us to evolve and raise up the next generation in the way that the world needs. I think we need to be like create a female camaraderie that really exists with men and is starting to exist with women, but we really need to amp up this camaraderie, I think.
I agree. I mean, even in talking about life experiences or parenting mistakes or parenting successes, maybe I haven't gone through the same parenting mistake, but by hearing it from you, I can recognize when I might be going to make it or hear options for improving it upon myself if I don't make, I'm not aware where before we wouldn't even talk about it. When I first started going through my fertility issues, 10 years ago now, or however long it's been, no one talked about that kind of stuff, or even the
Right.
miscarriages. It wasn't even like, but I was kind of an open book because I had always worked with women. It was like, well, this is what's happening. And it made me feel so much better
Yeah,
because you do
absolutely.
have a group.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was going to say to that point, I had a miscarriage and it was devastating, really depressing. I've had a couple actually, and or maybe a
Was
few.
it in between babies, or did you have it like first before your
it
first
was the
baby?
first pregnancy actually
Yeah,
with
that's
my
hard.
husband that I have now, and it was like not even planned, but we
Mhm.
were so excited. We were like two kids in a candy store, and then we never heard a heartbeat though. But I didn't know that. I didn't know that maybe it was a little bit of negligence from the doctor we saw, but it was really early. But as soon as I told someone and they were like, oh, I've had one too, I was like, oh, and then I told another person, I've had one. And I told another one, oh, I've had one. Like, it was just like, okay, maybe this is just the body preparing for the real deal. Like, I think that just all this openness about, fertility and pregnancy and miscarriage and stillborn and all, how common all of that stuff is needs to be like normalized more.
On all of that, I know dozens of women. On each thing that you've said, I know dozens of women who have been through each of those.
Yeah.
And that is something that you've done so well, I think, within your businesses and what you do even on social media, and just already create that for women. And one of the things that you do on your social too that's so much fun is, I mean, you really are you. And it's like from your beauty tips and your wellness stuff to your cooking. She has Chef Trunfio. Actually, I mean, you have to go on there and look. She has a separate account for that. But it started, I don't know if it started before, but through COVID especially, you were like cooking and you're like, this gorgeous, tall, skinny model who also just had a baby and it's her third baby. Looks amazing. And she is cooking the like most, it's like,
Unhealthy food, lots of butter, lots of cream.
yeah, but like
Lots
delicious. But
of bacon.
I read in your bio that and you mentioned your dad was Italian but he used to cook a lot. He likes to cook. And so I
Yeah.
loved seeing that and seeing where
But
you got
I
it.
mix it up. It's all about balance, really.
Yeah. Well, your family's so lucky. I'm like,
Macrobiotic
her
vegan.
husband's so lucky to be married to her.
Well, you asked me like how I do it all. It's actually quite sad. Well, it's not sad. It's just seeing the world as glass half full. I never get to see my husband. He's always on tour. He's a musician. He's been on tour for 8 years. So the lack of him being around has really been the catalyst of me, creating these companies and the success of them, because I really miss him. And I live really far out of town and I don't have much of like a social life. And so it's allowed me to really immerse myself in this creativity, which has been so rewarding and so fulfilling. I absolutely love it. I wouldn't change it for the world, but it's been because of missing him. And then when he came home, it was like, I never get to cook for him. So COVID, we live in the middle of nowhere. We can't order food. So I had to cook 3 meals a day. That was just because
that's a crazy laugh.
I had no other choice. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, you're doing it all. It's like, girl, I have no other options. Like, this is.
Plus, you want to. If you don't see him for that so much, it's kind of like, I totally get that. Like, you're enjoying another portion of your life that's existing at that moment right now. Right? Like diving into that.
Yeah, just being positive and seeing, like, it's all about perspective. Like glass full. It's like you can see this as we're so lucky. There's so many people that are like really not well off right now, and you know, in America we're so lucky. And I think that we just really need to be grateful every day for the things we do have and really try and see the positives in our lives, because we're all so lucky. There ain't nothing to be complaining about. And that's sexy to me.
I agree. It's one of the affirmations and prayers that I have in the morning as soon as I wake up, of like how grateful I am, even though there's like a weight of, you know, tasks that we have each day. And then the same thing for my kids when we pray in the morning. It's like just a house over our head is one of the first things, food to eat. That's all I say, you know, that
like
they're thankful for.
A present mother, you know, it's just, that's all kids need. We had to quarantine in Australia twice this year. We were back twice, not for great reasons. And like my kids were so happy.
In the hotel room, because they were in the hotel room,
and they were so happy. They were like, Mommy and Daddy together, all of us just in this tiny little space, you know, taking it back to simplicity. Let's play hide and seek. Let's play it again. Let's play it again. Let's play it all day. Okay.
You're like, sure, let's go. Go ahead, hide. Counting down 100, 99.
My husband's like, don't jump on the furniture. I was like, babe, we're going to be in here for 2 weeks. They can do whatever they want. Make an obstacle for us.
Yes, great.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so we're, you know, balancing motherhood and all of it. And it really is, there is no true balance. I feel like you're saying too, it's just like whatever the moment is. But in your sense of your personal wellness, what do you do? How do you get those moments of wellness? And what does that look like for you? Like, what are your top rituals that you stick to for your mind, beauty?
I've always actually found it difficult to touch on this topic. And I recently discovered why. I am not very, like, just my personality. I'm just not very hands-on in the world of beauty. Like, I like products that work. That's why I love KO. And I like Bumpsuit. I love the waist trainer. I don't have time to really like do a ritual. And I don't really want to be honest with you. Like, my friend's like, you should get a massage. And I'm like, I don't want to. Like, I really just don't. I don't know. My self-care, what I've realized is, like, I mean, I did it for the first time the other week. Someone begged me to come and I finally went. I went surfing on the river.
Oh, cool.
Behind a boat. And I was like, I just can't even tell you, like, the amount of joy and fulfillment and being out in nature and learning a skill. I'm just way too curious to, like, I need to learn something. That's my self-care, really.
I absolutely love that, because I'm somewhat of that way. Like, there are small rituals that I have, and applying my skincare and stuff. For me, that's the actually not being mindful. Like, it's the things that are so simple for me that I don't have to think about them in life. And I like that part, like in the morning or the evening. But fitness for me is not really self-care, because it's been my job for so long that it's not what I don't actually enjoy it so much. It's just something that I do at this point. I mean, I've been doing it 40 years. Like, it's like crazy. I started dancing 7 days a week at like 3 years old. So, but I do love doing things like that too. That's the thing that most inspires me. One is nature. I think you're touching upon that, really being out there, and with your kids too. You can see where you live, like you guys are out there doing that kind of stuff, and then just learning, being free, being a kid again.
But also, like, for you to do the fitness thing, and that now you're really into the skincare and beauty, like, you look so beautiful right now. Wow. And then for me, it's like, I've done the beauty thing. I'm just like, I'm like, give me the fitness side. And it's like, I think that's why it's like a balance, like a dance. Life is a dance. And also, like, learning, like you doing this podcast, for me, I drive like an hour into town every morning to drop my kids off. And everyone's like, how do you do that? And it's the glass half full thing. It's like, I get time to listen to a podcast, which gives me so much, like, inspiration and connection. And then I'm like, well, that's self-care to me. And it's like people like you are bringing that to us. And that's like, that's my ritual. The only other product that I really love is like therapeutic grade essential oils. doTERRA is a company that I use. I do it like for scent. I use geranium as my personal fragrance.
I have geranium too. That's such a healthy one. It's actually really good for immune boosting too.
Yeah, and that's another thing, health for the kids. But that one's the oil of love and trust. I love that oil. And then in my home, like my household products, my surface spray, my hand wash, everything is essential oils. I don't use chemicals in my house at all. And that raises the frequency, the vibration of the energy in the home. It's like everything is like a spa treatment or like beautiful to like surface spray. And you make it yourself. It's so easy.
Yeah, I love that. It just is, it's being present too in the moment instead of having to just kind of buy whatever is on the market, even if it says clean. It's like you're really putting your love into each part because you do have to mix those things.
Yeah.
Actually, doTERRA has some stuff, but you have to mix. You have to do it.
No, I didn't even buy their homemade stuff. I love mixing. It's just like distilled water, vinegar, and then like I just make new mixes. And I've taught everyone that works with us how to do it as well. And in the shower, Himalayan salt with almond oil, and like you put the oils in, scrub. After the shower, like you could use coconut oil and grapefruit. But like I find that I love your products for the body. It's insane, like how I feel.
Thank you.
And even after, like when I shower after wearing them, I'm like, oh my God, the quality is, I've just never experienced anything like that. So
Thank
you know, it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate it because it's, you know, as a home chemist yourself, you have to, you know, you're particular in what you like.
And also
but that's basically what we do too. Yeah.
After having 3 babies and using the products on my skin, it's just really helped the bounce back so much.
Yeah.
Like
I will say, I mean, there are things like peptides and certain sciences that are great for, especially when you're trying to recover or repair. But that leads us to, especially, let's talk bodies and the Bumpsuit. You know, as I mentioned, that's really how we got in touch, was when you launched that. And I'm wearing one right now, actually. I have a cute little kind of like lower turtleneck onesuit, the GG on. There's a couple I have here. I mean, I have other jumpsuits and dresses and everything. And then she has her waist trainers too, which is amazing. And for years, I was a pre and postnatal specialist, training and helping repair. And so I was always talking about binding your belly afterwards, which is an Ayurvedic form they do for postnatally. And let's jump into this first, and then we can kind of talk about the pregnancy part. But what I loved your waist trainer from the Bumpsuit. I think every woman should have it. I've actually tried tons of different waist trainers because what I love to do is wrap KO on my belly and then put something over it because it really helps it to absorb. This is by far the most comfortable. I wore it like 24 hours a day for months after I gave birth. And I think it really helped me to pop back so much faster. I was shocked at how fast.
Yeah, it's gentle. You can put it on like 24 hours after birth too.
Yeah. Amazing. Tell us, so why did you want to launch this with a Bumpsuit, and why do you find this is so vital for women?
Okay, so I wish I had this it's always sold out. It's like the best-selling thing. We're launching a new one, which is insane. It should be launched by the time this podcast comes out. But it's a Velcro one. But anyway, this one in particular is just, I've had everything on the market for my first 2. Obviously, going back to modeling, I had to snap back. I didn't have a choice. So I was trying everything, and they're so aggressive and so uncomfortable. And so I developed this one after I had an Ayurvedic postpartum doula after every birth, and the Ayurvedic binding. I wanted something easy to mimic the binding and be compression that you didn't have to like take off because it was uncomfortable, because then you're not really even using it. So this one is just like, you can sleep in it. You can use it as shapewear under your clothes. We have people that buy them that have office jobs just to like have better posture sitting at the chair.
Absolutely. You do not, this is not just a postnatal product.
No, people use them to work out. I use mine still every day. I'm like 2 years postpartum. And then also we have people that have had back surgery that get it, and they're just like, it's a game changer. People that go hiking, it's just not, it's so popular because it's not like the
It's not heavy.
aggressive style waist trainers that are on the market that are hard to get on. It's so easy to put on and off, and like you just slip it on and you can wear it like all day long.
Even in the fitness industry, people would do, I forget, it's like a sweat wrap almost, right? But they're so thick, they're like, "Can I wear this?" I'm like, "Why would you? You can't
No.
engage your muscles." But with this, it's so soft that you can, and if you want to, you get like a little extra sweat because of the tension underneath it. If you
And the
are sitting at
binding.
your desk, I do.
Yeah.
I wear this at my desk too because it just makes me much more aware of my posture and drawing in.
Yeah.
Especially even if you've had baby years ago and you still have that loose muscle and you haven't been able to retrain it, this is something that's great because it's going to help to refocus you and just make you aware of how you are acting and sitting, how your body posture is
Yeah.
throughout the day to correct that. But yeah, I
To
will say
me,
too, though.
it's like a morning coffee. It just makes you feel like a
Yeah.
superhero. Like when you put it on, I'm just like, I feel so much better.
But
And then when I don't wear it, I'm like, it's like, oh, superhero again.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, it's your centering you. It's your, what they say, your chakras, and that's one of your like the base of it. Well,
yeah,
especially postnatally, like right after you give birth, why the Ayurvedic is doing that is because everything's loose and it's just kind of hanging there and you are ungrounded, they say. You're not grounded right now because you have so much space down there. So they bind you not only physically to help you repair, but emotionally.
yeah.
It's exactly what you're saying. You feel like
In
a
Ayurveda, they
superhero.
have Pitta, Vata, and Kapha. And
Mhm.
Pitta is fire, Kapha is earth. Sorry. Pitta is fire, Kapha is air, and Vata. Pitta is fire, Kapha is earth, and Vata is air. And you have so much air energy in you because of the baby being released. You feel like you're going to fly. So they ground you, they bind you to give you more Kapha energy. And the Ayurvedic, like the herbs that they cook with, the Abhyanga massage with the hot oil is lymphatic drain. Like all of the, I
I
think
did
that
all of that.
Ayurveda should be the fourth trimester for every woman. Like to have that kind of schedule with, your diet, only warm foods. You're not allowed to get out of bed for 2 weeks, which was really hard for me. Just all the herbs and spices that help the womb retract, and the binding, like, or the waist trainer is just like a game changer.
And it, like being up in the middle of the night, you find that you're kind of like laying on pillows and stuff, and you already have no core. So when I started to wear it overnight, which was just a few days in, I was like, oh my God, this is so much better because I actually had the support that I needed to be holding the baby.
Absolutely.
The million times I had to feed her throughout the night when you're really not paying attention because you're half asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
A good
this is
little
some
trick
stuff.
a good little trick for the third baby was I'd have all these. I never watch TV. I'm just like so engaged with my business. But for that, I was like, I'm going to line up some YouTube and podcasts and things like that. So when the baby woke up and I was half asleep, I would just turn it right on and I would just engage, and it would help keep me awake
Yeah.
the whole time.
Oh, even after I stopped breastfeeding, I still had nightmares. I would wake up that I that I was holding the baby and I fell
Oh my
asleep.
God.
Like it was like constant. Or I would let the baby go when I was feeding, put the baby back down and I'd jolt up like, oh my God, I'm still holding the baby.
But you aren't. I know.
Every night.
I never could do the night nurse thing. I was like,
Yeah.
no one's touching my baby. I wouldn't even let my husband. I'd be like, I'm doing it.
It's the mother instinct. It's that
I
mother.
think so.
It's good. We all should have it.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit though about the pregnancy because you are such an gorgeous pregnant woman, and you make. If you guys go on to her feed or the Bumpsuit feed at this point, like you can tell the woman that wears the Bumpsuit feels so confident. And honestly, the clothes before were like they're baggy. It's like you're covering up. It's like you're trying to cover up this growing, beautiful body. And I feel like with your clothes, you're really these women are finally just showing off their figures. Everybody's different, different figures. And I just want to add in there too, so we don't forget that these feel like this is not an ad.
Butter.
I just need to say they feel like butter. Exactly what I was going to say.
Like
they're so soft and comfortable.
Yeah. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. The feeling. I think someone said to me, because the breastfeeding cover I did with Elle was like the first breastfeeding cover ever, and then
Yeah, she's really worked to normalize that too.
Breastfeeding,
you
and
really
that
have.
was
Yeah,
just super organic. But like, they're like, of course you're freeing the bump. You freed the nipple, not freed the nipple, but like you freed the nipple with the breastfeeding cover. Now you're freeing the bump, and it's like I feel more attractive in a bump suit when I'm pregnant, because like that's the time where if you have a belly, it's like it's not a burrito, it's actually a baby. And your body when you're pregnant is so beautiful. Those curves, they deserve to be shown. And also it's just way more comfortable. There's no like mid lines, there's no waistlines. It's like you just throw a coat on it. We're actually launching outerwear as well. So that'll
gorgeous.
be by the time this podcast comes out. And so it's like you have the whole look. And when you're waking up in the morning, 3 kids, whatever, you've got a bunch of stuff to do, you can wear a bump suit a day. Don't have to think about it. It'll be so comfortable, no worries. And you can
day to night too, super chic. Yeah. Drop the other kids off at school.
Exactly.
Go out to dinner if you want to. Yeah.
It's the chicest maternity. It's like really redefining maternity style. And wear it date night. And then I used to just face plant on my bed and then just wake up in the morning with my bump suit still on.
I can see this. Yeah.
I would just put a different coat on, a different bag, and I'd be like, hi. Didn't even take off my bump suit, didn't shower.
This is a different one, I promise.
Like mom life when you're in the thick of it. And every mom knows what that is. But it's a bump suit a day. I'm trying to think of the next part. A bump suit a day keeps the worries away.
Bad style away.
A bump suit a day keeps the fashion police away.
Oh, I love that. I'm so excited to talk about a brand that I love and wear all the time called Bumpsuit. Founded by mom of 3, Nicole Trunfio, it's the coziest and chicest essential to add to your closet, pregnant or not. They also have an amazing line of shapewear with a best-selling support waist trainer, which I personally love and wore all the time postnatally and still do. All of the styles can be dressed up or down and come in multiple colors. A few of my favorites are the Kate, the Cindy, and the Short. They even offered you a 20% discount code on their website just for our listeners. Use code KISS20, KISS 20 at bumpsuit.co. And make sure to follow and tag at Bumpsuit on Instagram when you get your order. I love you're so right on the fact that like you really did help to normalize. You were the first to help to normalize breastfeeding. And now it's amazing what you're doing for pregnant women. I mean, to do that, the same thing with the bump. And it was truly the time that I felt my most beautiful, but then everybody was giving me only these like big baggy jeans and big baggy t-shirts. And that was it.
I hate how like maternity wear looks like a butcher has like cut off the top part and then added a stretchy thing in there. And when people started sending me that, I was like, no, this is not empowering. I don't want to wear this. And also you're wasting. I'm really conscious about like fast fashion and like wasting. I don't like waste. And I found maternity is such a waste because most of it you can't wear afterwards. Bumpsuit, you can 100% go all the way. I say like, if you're wearing it and you're not pregnant, it will get you pregnant because men will love them. And you wear it the whole way through pregnancy, and then you wear it postpartum. And then,
sorry, guys, you're gonna have to go on, but it's so cute. I mean, they're so shapely. You gotta tie a little shirt or put a little jacket over it.
Totally. And we have like summer ones, winter ones, but that's the thing about it. There's no waste at all. It will last a lifetime. And then, like you don't have to feel like a science project, with all the weird maternity clothes on the market. Or if you're wearing a sack, that's another thing. But.
And then you can add some bling to it with your jewelry line, Earth jewelry, which we touched upon, but it's gorgeous. I have a bunch of your pieces, but you do, you customize too. It just takes a little bling. I mean, really, just to wrap it up, it's been so nice to speak with you and talk everything from beauty, wellness, modeling, motherhood, business. But do you have any tips out there for I mean, mamas or, women and just basically managing it all. I mean, obviously with 3 little kids who, oh my God, her kids are so gorgeous. They're so, you just want to go on her feed to look at her children. Her whole family is. But, to either manage it as a mother and work or just, maybe some aren't mommies yet and they're just trying to manage it all. But it's pretty amazing that you've created all these businesses and you've evolved.
I think the thing that I would say is to other women is really just like, I think we all have such incredible inner intuition, like we have an inner compass. And like, I feel like a lot of times we don't listen to it. And I think a lot of people just really we have all the tools we need, I think, internally. And I think we really just need to focus on that and honor ourselves and go gentle and really just follow our intuition. Because I think when you follow your intuition, I've spent the past 3 years knowing what's intuition, my head, my heart, but intuition's like the first thing that comes to your mind. It's like the organic way forward. And I think
you feel it more.
Yeah, we have to honor that. And a lot of friends ask friends for advice. I'm like, why are you asking your friends for advice? Like, we're all going through the same thing. That's the worst place to get advice. Ask someone that's been through it and knows, but really just trusting and honoring your intuition and being gentle on yourself, trying to see the things as a glass half full perspective and simplifying. I think that's the nice thing about COVID too, is just like really redefining what the home is and redefining what happens in the home and just simplifying your life.
I love this. I mean, we came into this, I don't know what we were, the goal is at this podcast, but I feel like you may need like a mental wellness podcast, because I feel like I've learned so many tips from you on just living the best life. You're such a beautiful soul, truly.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and just taking you're someone who takes all these experiences and whether it's the ups or downs, you don't turn them into a down, like having to leave at 16, you turn that into the most beautiful up. It's like being at home, missing your husband, turning that into these other amazing businesses. And it's where you're supposed to be, and you're helping all these other women feel and look great. And there's a simplicity to that. There is what seemingly feels like a simplicity to fashion, beauty, wellness, skincare, fitness, all of that. But guess what? When we feel our best, we are the best for everybody around us, and we can devote all that much more time. Yeah. So let us simplify your beauty, your fashion, your wellness routine so that you ultimately feel the best.
Everyone's different. Whatever makes you feel good. Like your kids need to see you taking care of yourself.
Yes.
Truly. You are the best example that they could have for how they're going to be and how they're going to act. So usually at the very end, we always have a speed round. So I have 2 questions for you.
Oh, I know. One, breakfast or fasting? Do you do the intermittent fasting?
Breakfast.
Yeah, I knew you're going to say
Actually,
that.
no.
I want to eat your breakfast, whatever it is.
I mean, girl, I'm in Texas now. I'd say coffee and a taco.
I love it. Okay, well, if I get to look like you, I'm on your diet. I'm writing a new book called Screw the Intermittent Fasting. It's called Breakfast or Coffee and a Taco.
What's that? Yeah, that's what do French women do? They eat baguettes.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, I can take that too. A little croissant. Okay, one more. What is one thing you are currently working on to improve your life?
I am working on working out more right now, actually. I'm trying to get in 4 days a week. Yeah.
Oh, get it, girl. Mm-hmm. And with the surfing, like it can just be anything where it's hard.
I've started spin Pilates too. I've never done that before, but I think it's really important, especially when you're sitting at a desk, that you got to get your body moving. And the long car drives, Pilates, spin, surfing.
Such a great combo. That is like you're getting your cardio, you're getting your mental health, and then you're getting the toning and balancing of your posture and stuff. I love it. Thank you, Nicole. So good to see you here. And we're all very blessed. Yeah,
good
to
luck
have had
with
you
this.
and learn all your tips.
So awesome. Let me
Thank you.
know. I want to help.
I can't wait for the overcoats and everything, though. I'm on it. I'm your next first client for all your new stuff. Thank you, Nicole. It was Trunfio. Wait, say how you say your last name. Trunfio. Thank you, Nicole Trunfio. It has been amazing to have you here today. And thank you for taking the time from your busy boss schedule and your busy mommy schedule to be with us. Thank you all for joining us on Keep It Simple Sexy. For more information, I know you all want to buy the Bumpsuit now, but you can go to bumpsuit.co, C-O, and her jewelry line is at earthjewelry.com. It's ERTH jewelry.com. Put it in the feed below so you can check it out. And, we mentioned you just have to follow her on Instagram at Nicole Trunfio. So it's actually Nick Trunfio. It's Nictrunfio. And I know I keep ruining. I don't say it like an Italian at all. I'm the worst with accents. And she also has at Bumpsuit and at Jewelry. And if you all loved this show today, don't forget to subscribe, to write any comments or questions and pass it along to a woman, a mama who needed to hear it. Have questions you need answered? Text me at 1-310-361-8697. Make sure you follow me on social at Christine Bullock and have a healthy, happy week. See you next time.